Welcome back to part 2 of Elijah's story. If you haven't watched part 1, kindly find it in the link above and stay tuned for more. So tell us how you got the scholarship to do your master's.
Thank you very much. You know, the scholarship, number one, was through discipline, determination, and discipline, determination, and the hand of God.
Yes.
That is how I secured my scholarship.
Yes.
Let me start with the most easy one. The what looks like easy one there, determination.
Yes.
Determination in that I was determined, despite everything. Consistency. Consistency. I was consistent. I was consistent in. If let's say we are doing design, and design is a very, very thorough unit. It's an architectural unit where you do drawing. So consistency is whereby every night I draw from 10 to 2. You draw. You draw. That's the determination is a product of consistency. Discipline. No, that is second. Second. Discipline is whereby, self-discipline, discipline in relation to others, and also discipline in terms of your undertakings. So this one gave me the leverage to relate with people, because I'll tell you for sure, I'll be arrogant, very, very arrogant, to say that it was just my doing. Through discipline, I managed to meet other people. I managed to create relationship. And these are the people who opened up ways for me. Determination created grades. Discipline created relationship. Yeah? So, through this discipline, created relationship. And once again, I got from this same teacher. He gave me a link, and he gave me an opportunity. By the time I was in third year, I had very few B's, leave alone C's. C's I only had 2. And out of about 50-something units, I had very few B's. The rest were A's. So that was number one thing that I was considering for the scholarship. So there was some entry exam that we did, the online, after you've submitted your transcripts and everything, and there's some forward letter that you've been referred with some credible people. Then now the third thing, God came in. Favor.
Yes,
Favor.
And favor from God is very, very important. Yeah.
Favor. No favor stepped in. Because I'm sure there were maybe some people who had maybe better grades. Those who are, because actually the scholarship was in construction, civil engineering, architecture, and the built and environment. I'm sure there were some people who maybe had even maybe better grades from across. But this is how I landed the scholarship. So though it was partial, but at least I got the scholarship, and I started my master's immediately. So looking at that also, some part of the expenses, like maybe registration and all that, and even maybe typing, doing maybe a serious cover letter, and doing your submissions and everything. People, this lecturer of mine will help me. Okay. And some of the things I will do from maybe my money from help and everything. Okay. And just to mention, by the time I was finishing my university degree, I'd saved my help some very, very good amount of money.
How did you manage to save help?
Thank you very much. That's why I say discipline.
You never used to take Susie out, Ava.
You know, the issue is not even taking Susie out. Because actually, Susie was direct from heaven to me. So, Susie, if I would have walked with her in even in town without buying her something, that is out. Wow. If I buy her 60 shillings chocolate, she will appreciate.
Wow. So even I feel like greeting Susie right now.
She's quite, and to be very honest, she's wiser than I am. And I will tell you, if Susie speaks before I speak, now I will not speak, because she will say everything. She will disseminate all the wisdom, and I will have nothing to say. So in one or another, she's more than I am. She's more than I am. That one I can say. She is more than I am. So on that saving of my help, there's quite a lot of things. Now, with this help is what I used to do my CPA with. This is what I would start to do my project management with, diploma. Okay. I will save, then I will go to my dad and tell him, oh, Mathare, I have 6,000, kindly give me 2,000 so that I can have 8,000, so that I can register for these CASNEB exams that are coming. Trust me, even if money was not there, my dad will look for it up and down, and he will top it up, and I'll be able to do my CPA. So from this money I was saving, my help money, I did quite a lot of things. I did driving, CPA, the big project management. Yeah.
Yeah, because some people wonder, like, how are you able to do all that? And I think it's important, as you've said, being disciplined, because I think when people go to campus, it's all about impressing ladies or wanting to look like you're the nice guy,
Thank you very much. Looking back, actually, I wouldn't say that I was even much more serious. I was not looking very, very serious in school. People think that I was very, very serious every time going to the library. Actually, very few instances I went to the library, to be very honest. Very, very few instances. But I will say, discipline is, first of all, the state of mind. You begin by having discipline internally. Internally, this is by you set your goals. You say, Elijah Orango, I need to do CPA. That is in December. And they need maybe 8,000 for registration for that exam. I have no money, and my dad is overwhelmed because they are my siblings. And if I go to him and tell him I want to do CPA, he'll say, no, finish this first, there's no money for that. So there's a way I have to go about it. And, people have underplayed sacrifice. Especially youths and our age, we underplay sacrifice. We want manna. We want things falling.
Immediate gratification.
Yes, we just want things falling. Yes. And for us is to go and pick. Sacrifice is whereby you say, okay, I will eat rice. I will eat rice and soup. We used to call it rice bursary. And, looking at my background and looking at other people, maybe he's from a rich background. His father is having a company. It's a matter for him to just finish. And they will give him an office. Yes. But for you, you have nothing. You have nothing to inherit. Nothing. And if there's something to inherit, is debts and problems. So I cannot reason like the rest of them. So it is sacrifice. Whereby you say, okay, let me take rice for the sake of my exams. Let me take my expenditure and make it to 80 shillings a day. 80 shillings, whereby you cheat yourself and you take brunch, whereby you don't take breakfast. You just dress very well because you're in campus. You must dress very well, and you wash your face and you anoint yourself, so people will not know you've not taken breakfast. Then, when it's about 12, 11:30, they open the mess. You go there and you cheat yourself that you are taking breakfast and lunch. Then you wait for evening. Then you use some rice bursary, or R&B, rice and beans, 20 shillings. In my campus, it was 20 shillings. 20 shillings, then you take 50 shillings for supper, because supper is heavy. You have to take a heavy meal. Yeah. Not you have to, nutritionally, or it's not right, but for the sake of the activities that happen at night, you prepare yourself by having a serious meal. Yeah. That is 50 shillings. Then you're having 10 shillings. That is credit. 80 shillings. So you discipline yourself to that 80 shillings. With the help. You discipline yourself to that 80 shillings. And you spend when it is necessary. So it is a matter of sacrifice. You will not maybe buy a leather jacket like your friend, but you'll have your small jacket. You have to be contented with that. That is sacrifice. So out of that sacrifice, I managed to save some money. That I did quite a lot of things. Even, like for example, just to say, I bought my guitar with that money. Yeah. I've paid CPA with that money. I did my driving with that money. I started my diploma in project management with that money. So that is how. It is sacrifice.
Yeah, and it's so important for young men to know that, because I think ladies are really complaining of the caliber of men in our generation.
Okay.
And it's so inspiring that, you've achieved all this through the hard work. And maybe now you could talk about now being married at this age. And of course, we know what's happening. It's not something that's new to us. People are losing faith in marriage because of the caliber of men, as I'm saying, that are around. Maybe you could talk about that now.
Thank you very much. Personally, I got married in 2016 October, and it's though shameful to say that I married in my father's house. He gave me a room. So that is why I started my marriage life. Though I did not marry procedurally, and I would not encourage anyone to marry like I did. Because it's just with this same Susie, whom we began the journey in 2010. When she was in Form 1 and I was in Form 4. And by good luck or bad luck, she conceived. So I had to man up. Having been through this, having been born in Mathare, brought up in Dandora, and the kind of childhood I've had and the kind of struggle I've had in my life, it left me with no option but to face up my challenges head on. The challenge was now to take her and start living with her. Susie, by God's grace, they are from at least a bit well-off background and opposed to us. So it took a lot of, because ladies, you must, in one or another, people say, not me, but people say that you need to give them some level of lie, not comfort, some level of lie, so that they agree with you. Or there's a way you need to deceive them. You give them, I will, right now I'm poor, but I'm about getting a Range Rover somewhere, You have to paint that picture. You have to paint that picture. You have to give your vision. I think she's one lady who stuck to my vision. But one thing I love with Susie, because I can tell you for sure that lady is not a joke. She's not a pushover. That I will just tell her that, oh, mom, you know I will get Range Rover. She will, she must vet and see and look keenly into what you are saying. Where is that Range Rover? How? What are you putting in place to see that Range Rover and all that? Just an example. So, by that time I was I had a job. I was fresh out from school. I graduated in May, and I was doing my masters. But I was having a job by that time. I was getting around 12,000 shillings. And now I'm married. And I'm not just married. I'm married, and a life is on the way. Another life is on the way. So it is sacrifice. Now, in marriage, I will say Susie was convinced maybe with how I was, my vision. I think maybe she stuck with the vision. I told her, Mom, no, now we are here. We are in Dandora, here just next to the river. And I cannot even afford to give you 200 shillings, to leave you with 200 shillings so that you can sort yourself in the house. Because by that time, it's my dad who used to cater for the bills and everything. So I told her, but you know, Mom, I'm going somewhere, and these are the things I'm doing to ensure that we get there. You know, the thing is that we tell ladies, and that's why ladies say that we deceive them. We tell them of big things. That's from what I think. Maybe I might be wrong. We tell them what we want, what we are going to do, but we don't tell them how. And we don't tell them how expressively and impressively. Expressively in that we say it, how we're going to do it. But impressively, on our daily undertaking, our daily activities, does it match what we say? So, you know, there is a way men think that for you to actually convince a woman, there is some level of deception you have to put into play, so as to catalyze the process, or rather quicken everything. So, you know, it is not bad, and entirely it is not normally deception per se. It is a vision, but you know what will separate vision from deception is what you are doing to make it happen.
Yes.
Now that is the thing. So, you know, by that time I was still not doing so well, and I must thank my wife for being around with me and agreeing with being in agreement with my vision, that is. So I can remember but then I also used to work, because there were certain things I had not finished. I had not finished my diploma. I've not finished my CP had said I had given it a break at part 1, and I still needed to do my EIA. So
EIA stands for?
For environmental impact and assessment and audit. So these things require money. So I used to walk.
From where to where?
By that time I was having a site in Nyari. Nyari is in Gigiri. And I stay in Dandora. So I wake up very early, about 4:30. And I can remember my boss praising me, saying how much I was passionate with my job, because by about 6:30, I was always on site. Yes, I was passionate, yes. But one of the things is that I want to go in, I wake up very early when the fare is about 30 shillings. You know, when you wake up around 6, 7, the fare will be 80 shillings and 100. So, you know, in the morning fare is 30 shillings. And I alight in Ngara. Then I just walk slowly.
You walk from Ngara to Gigiri?
I walk from Ngara to Gigiri. Because out of this 12,000, I must save some money so that I finish up my course, my diploma, and also work on my EIA. So, and I can remember some time, and I used not to take lunch. I used to survive on one meal, that is supper. Eat supper, that's fine. The next day, supper. So there's one time Susie used to pack me some lunch, and that one came in hand, very handy. And actually, I remember when I started taking this lunch, I remember that at times when you're very hungry, it impairs your judgment and your thinking. Yes, so there's some direct relationship with food. During that time, I made some steps. That's when I also did I registered with the NCA as a construction site supervisor. So it was sacrifice.
So you're saying NCA stands for?
National Construction Authority. So it was still sacrifice during that time. Still working. And I come home, I tell, hey, Mom, I saw a very, very serious house. That house is, I'm seeing you in such kind of house. And I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to ensure that we live in such a house. And I thank God she normally, and she's the one who created that environment to ensure that that came to pass. So, without telling much more on all this, on my struggles and all that, because everyone has his own struggles. In marriage, first of all, I will not say that I'm an authority in marriage, because going by my age and the numbers of years that I've been married, I have no much experience. I cannot talk much. But the little that I've gathered in marriage and in family life is that family is good and marriage is sweet, depending on how you look at it. Because looking at the things I've gone through, it made me understand that marriage basically is about commitment. It's about sacrifice.
You should say that louder. You should say it louder. Ongeza volume.
No, marriage is about commitment and sacrifice. And sacrifice, people don't understand the meaning of sacrifice. Let's look at it from the biblical point of view. Sacrifice was something that, look at it. If let's say it was a lamb, they say it's a 7-year-old lamb that is blemish.
That has no blemish.
That has no blemish. Actually, thank you very much. That has no blemish. And it is taken and it is burnt.
Yeah.
Now that is sacrifice. Sacrifice is whereby you're doing something that under normal circumstance you don't like. Yeah. Now that is the definition of marriage so far. It's about sacrifice and commitment. People think that marriage, that's why I'm saying marriage is sweet, but it depends with how you look at it. Think that it's sweet, that it's a bed of roses, it's land of Canaan. Then for those who are maybe getting into it or are ripe for marriage, I will say that it is sacrifice. And by definition, get the new definition of sacrifice. It is something that you, under normal circumstance, you don't like. Now that is marriage. Why am I saying so? Is that, sacrifice is that which you in normal circumstance, you will not like doing it. You don't want to do it. For instance, you are married to a lady who maybe she snores, or maybe you snore, and maybe you don't like it. It pisses you off. But sacrifice is doing what? Sacrifice is now having that balance and discerning that indeed she snores, but let me just let me accommodate her. Let me accommodate her. That actually, thank you. Let me accommodate her. That is the thing. So people think that marriage is about you go get in and you get very sweet. It's about going out together, having matching kitenges and all that. Yes, but by the end, by the time you are in it, or they look at marriage up to the wedding, there's more to it. So with me, who got married in 2016 October, and officially about 2017, 2017, the 16th of January, 2017. I will say marriage is about commitment. Commitment is that you're just committed. You know, someone is committed is like someone who is undertaking a course.
Yeah, you see it to the end.
You see to the end. At one point, that course is very boring. The lecturer doesn't like you. The lecturer has thrown you out of the class. But tomorrow you still come back because you know you want to see the course to the end. Yeah. So is marriage.
Yeah, and even now, as we're almost concluding, Elijah, you've shared a lot of wisdom, and I'd like you now to advise young men because, I mean, as I've said, they seem that there's a lack of mentorship for young men. You know, of course, now ladies are empowered. People are saying, you know, ladies are now stepping up their game. But now, what about men? What would you say to a young man who's still struggling? Who's wanting to get married, who's looking towards that vision. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My advice is that, number one, actually I'll not say an advice, but it's an encouragement. I'll say all men are great. All men are great. Anyone, as long as you are a man, maybe, and it applies to both genders, you're great. Yeah. And your greatness can be perceived, or your greatness will be seen just because of two things. Because of your level of sacrifice and the level of assignment. It is through these things that makes men not to be the same. Yeah. So I will say that in anything you do, because I will not say that this is right or this is wrong, once you have a cause, a justifiable cause, put sacrifice. Put sacrifice unto it. Put sacrifice unto it. Once you put sacrifice unto it, you will see results. You will see manifestation of serious greatness. The bigger version of you will come out. For example, if you look at the normal African man or normal African woman or lady, we are born at a disadvantage. We are always born with a disadvantage. No, almost everyone, especially in Africa. Yeah. So it is you to make your advantage. Yeah. It is you to make your advantage. And your advantage you make through sacrifice. Nothing just happens. Nothing just happens. When you see people having serious results, secretly it is through some serious hard work. And this comes through sacrifice. So I will tell men, that is one of the things, sacrifice. Sacrifice. The key is sacrifice. For a justifiable cause, for sure you must see, success will not be far from that. However, for those who are getting married, especially for men, I will say that you must look at yourself, evaluate yourself, and see if indeed being ripe for marriage is not because of age. No, it's not age.
It's not age, it's a number. Age is just a number.
It's not age, because there are those who make lovely couples and when they're in their 60s. There are those who make lovely couples and maybe they're in their 20s. So it's a matter of maturity, and maturity comes looking at your level of responsibility and level to perceive things, level to look at situations and make good out of them. Because in one or another, you'll always be faced with new things every day. And especially for a man, challenges. Every day of your life, there is a challenge knocking at your door. But how do you go about it? If this is what will determine your level of maturity, and this is what will inform your decision of being ripe for marriage. So if men would look into the lens of maturity, look into the lens of maturity that will make them see the level of responsibility that is required, the level of sustenance, and the level of being the source, especially for men in marriage, especially for men, because there's some level of being the source and level of sustainability that is required just from men, and the level of teachability. You must also be teachable. Just before you go, are you having listening skills? You know, hearing and listening are different.
Yes,
Are you having listening skills? For sure, now that's when you are ripe for marriage. But when you go with peer that maybe, okay, my friends are marrying, my age mates are marrying, let me also marry, you will be in for a rude shock.
Yes, and even as you're just saying your final comments, another thing I'll maybe talk about is, or I'll want you to talk about, is the quality of a lady you choose really determines how far you go as a man, right?
I can tell you that for sure, and this is an undeniable fact, that, ladies, it is only ladies who can make the man out of you. You know, there is a hidden man inside every man. There's some greatness that is engraved inside them, every man. And for it to manifest and come out, it takes the effort of a lady. Let me tell you that, even God himself, for those who read the Bible, looked at Adam, and with everything, he saw Adam and say, this guy, in as much I've given him everything, and there is everything, but because there's no lady in the equation, things are incomplete. And there is, I will say, with my experience, though not so much, the quality of lady determines the kind of man you will be, the quality of lady you have in your life. Because, for instance, it's like you're told that if at all you have a lady or in your life that you are not compatible with, she doesn't share in the vision you're having, trust me, even if it was a vision that you saw, it was a real vision that you saw, that God came and put the two of you together, trust me, that marriage is crashing. So there are some of the things you must look at. Are you compatible? Are the two of you compatible? Do the two of you understand each other? What is your level of responsibility towards each other? How do people look at things? For instance, for example, if like faith, you say, okay, I am a Christian and you're a Muslim. How do we, both of us? Because at the beginning you'll underplay it.
No,
But when things get real, as things go by, you'll find it very difficult, and then you'll say, okay, maybe it was not God's plan. You start looking for some comforting things to give you psychological comfort. But in real sense, it was that maybe you are not able, you did not open your eyes enough to see into the qualities that you want in your life. Because it is for a man to look for the wife. That is what the Bible says. Whoever findeth a man who findeth a woman, whoever findeth a wife, finds a good thing. So there's some element of seeking. That is where there's some element of seeking. So it is upon the man. You seek the one who will ensure that your vision is well taken care of. So for that one, it's on the part of the man. Yes.
Wow, wow, it's been a blessing having you today, Elijah. And I hope people will take a few lessons, if not all, you know, and that they will learn truly that life is about sacrifice and hard work and, of course, making the right choices. Because, I mean, you had every reason not to make the right choice. I mean, going by the circumstances, but you had to choose, right? And I think also, now finally, just emphasize the importance of choice, because people are finding themselves in situations where they are regretting, and yet God gave us the ability to choose between right and wrong, right?
Thank you very much. One thing I would really want to say is that a very good friend of mine and a preacher said that you are born looking like your parents, but you die looking like your decisions.
Wow, that's profound.
So, it is upon you to decide, and that's why God gave man free will. Choices. Decide. And decision, people think that making decision is you start with making decision on big things. Even how you make decision in small things matters. Decide on making decisive and a well thought out decision in anything that you undertake. Just for instance, when you are faced with any challenge, it's upon you to sit down. It's upon you to bring the ingredients with which to make an informed decision. What am I saying? The ingredient is having the environment, having the necessary skill, or rather knowledge. These are some of the things that makes a decision. Look at your environment. Are you in the right environment to make a specific decision? Are you having the requisite knowledge or even wisdom? That's why it's better you go and get it from those who have been through maybe such challenges. So I will say and emphasize that in life, you have to make decisions that you can live by. And you must... And exactly. Because and you must, when making decision, you must look at the long term and the short term. Maybe in the short term it's very sweet, yes. But now in the long term it's very, very bitter. So you have to look at everything in a bigger picture so that you make a good decision. And furthermore, it is God's will that all of us make good decision. And always, it is said that the good and the bad is always in our purview. So it's upon you to open your eyes. It's upon you to have illumination. Maybe at times that it is there but you cannot see. You need someone to open your eyes. You see? That when we follow through this, we'll be able to make a good decision. We'll be able to make a decision that we will not regret. And a decision that even some generations after us will look back and say, for sure, based on your decisions, you left a legacy. Based on your decision, there's something you've left behind that you can be remembered for.
Wow, yes. A lot of wisdom. Thank you, Elijah. I'm grateful that you made time. And once again, I'm hoping people will be inspired. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Okay.